chapter number 4 and verse number 25. Thank you. So, just to debrief what we have done in this chapter so far. Where is Mukul Prabhuji? Palvi Mataji? Why is not come?
प्रभु जी निकल गए हैं, बस पहुंचते ही होंगे.
अच्छा. And Nidhi Mataji का है?
प्रभु जी अभी इसकी फ्लाइट है, वो निकलेगी.
हाँ जी.
अभी इसकी फ्लाइट है प्रभु जी.
फ्लाइट.
वो फ्लाइट है, अभी जा रही है गोरखपुर. जी प्रभु जी.
So the name of this chapter is Transcendental Knowledge, Divya Gyan. So in the first 4 verses, 1 to 4, Krishna explained about the lineage of this transcendental knowledge. Lineage, you understand? Lineage.
Lineage.
Parampara. Like Krishna explained, he first gave this knowledge to Sun God, Vivashwan. And Vivashwan gave to his son. He gave to his son, like this. Parampara is going on. He explained how this comes. And after these 4 verses, Krishna explains how is Krishna different from all of us. How is the body of Krishna is divine, not material like us. Remember, Krishna said, I can remember everything. You cannot. You cannot remember what you did at the same time yesterday. Forget about previous birth. But I remember everything. This is Krishna.
This is from verses 5 to
10. And then 11 to 15, Krishna explained how he is the creator and how is the end goal of every endeavor, finally. Whether one may adopt any path, he may not know even what is his destination, but he is gunning for Krishna. And Krishna reciprocates to the extent or depending on the mood of the worshipper. In what mood a devotee is approaching Krishna, in the same mood, on the same manner to that portion, Krishna reciprocates. Okay. And then Krishna explained for gradual upliftment in spiritual life, Krishna created 4 varnas, varnashrama system for systematic progression of one's consciousness, spiritual life. That's why Krishna created 4 varnas, 4 ashramas. And then 16 to 24, Krishna explained how one should perform karma with knowledge. Karma on the platform of jnana. Currently, people perform karma without any jnana. Whatever their mind tell, start performing. That's why practically everybody is committing sinful activities every moment. Why? They do not perform karma based on transcendental knowledge. So Krishna explained this knowledge. And what is that knowledge? Knowledge of karma, vikarma, and
akarma.
akarma. Okay. So one should perform his activities, his karma, based on this knowledge. Okay. not otherwise. Why not otherwise? Why it is risky? If one does not perform karma based on knowledge, what Krishna explained, why it is risky?
Sinful action plus bondage.
Bondage. It leads to karam bandhana. Means different bodies. Sometimes animals, sometimes reptiles, sometimes trees, sometimes plants. So one is awarded different types of bodies based on karam bandhana, bondage. So these different bodies are to entrap the soul and keep in this material world, like a cage. This body is like a cage which binds the soul in a specific cage or body based on one's karmas. This body, which is very dear to us, is actually a cage. And like Prabhupada used to quote, old woman has a cage, has a bird inside the cage, but she is busy only polishing the cage, not feeding the bird
पर्दा बंद करके तेरे जगह देना है जैसे कर देंगे
inside the cage. Similarly, we all are busy polishing the cage and not really feeding the soul of the bird inside this cage. But how this realization comes, that is important. How one develops this jnana or this sambandha jnana or videha jnana or prayojan. How? Based on sacrifices. The purpose or the goal of sacrifice, ultimate goal of sacrifices is to manifest what? Transcendental knowledge. And how transcendental knowledge manifests when you perform sacrifices? The first goal of sacrifice is to control or restrain senses. The first goal is controlling senses. Why? If senses are not controlled, one will perform sinful activities. He'll be busy only serving himself. So when you restrain senses, you stop committing sins. That's why all yoga systems, their first objective is to control, whether Ashtanga yoga or any yoga. The first objective or the goal of any yoga system, or in this case sacrifices or yajna, is to control the senses and mind. Why? So that you stop performing sinful activities, and when you stop performing sinful activities and you continue to perform yajna, your heart gradually purifies. So the second goal of performing yajna is to purify our heart. And purify a heart means what? Heart becomes devoid of material desires. And when heart is purified, in a purified heart, transcendental knowledge manifests. Okay. So while we are doing any yajna, the end objective is one develops transcendental knowledge. And when one develops transcendental knowledge, he performs service to Krishna. It means that knowledge situates the soul in his constitutional position of serving, and hence we perform. Generally, when soul arrives in this material world, what tendency soul has? मिरर देखते हैं. मिरर में क्या देखते हैं? क्या देखते हैं मिरर में? How is my hair? How is my mustache? How is my dress? How is my skin? ये देखते हैं ना? So there is a propensity of self enjoyment, selfish enjoyment. That propensity brings the soul into this material world. समझ रहे हैं? When he stops serving Krishna, he starts serving himself. Krishna bhuliya jeev bhog vancha kare. The moment you forget Krishna, you develop desire to gratify your senses. And hence all the Shastras injunction is always remember Krishna. Don't forget Krishna. Why? The moment you forget Krishna, there is an accident. What accident? You develop desire to gratify your senses. Krishna se najar hati, durghatna ghati. And hence Krishna should be the sole goal of our life. So we remember Krishna 24 hours. When you're remembering Krishna, you don't feel like enjoying. Have you realized this? Have you experienced this? The degree of sense enjoyment diminishes immediately the moment you're involved in some service to Krishna. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no on the screen? You forget. When you're hearing Gita, Bhagavatam attentively, this is all service to Krishna, you forget your sense enjoyment. You forget what you're wearing. You forget how you're looking. But the moment you forget Krishna, you start thinking, how am I looking? How is my dress? How is my shoe? When a devotee dresses Krishna for 2 hours, he forgets himself. He may be wearing phati dhoti. He doesn't remember that. He remembers only Krishna, and then he shows mirror to Krishna. Krishna, see how you're looking. In Darshanarti in ISKCON at 7:15, after Shringar is over, Krishna is shown mirror. Because he is the only worthy of seeing mirror, not me. What do we have? Today we'll see chikni, and after 2 years, 5 years, you don't want to see why you have so many jhuriya or so many pimples, so many problems in your skin. So it's not worth showing mirror. The only face which is worth showing mirror is Krishna's face. Why? Because it's eternal. His beauty is eternal and it increases with time. And our beauty decreases with time. Yes or no? We'll become old after 5 years. And Krishna will become even more younger after 5 years. So when one gets used to showing mirror to Krishna, he stops or he comes out of this habit of seeing mirror himself. So you should show mirror to Krishna every day. Then you stop looking at mirror. So that's why the only objective of devotional service is to keep our senses engaged in service of Krishna. Why? You don't develop material desires. If you are out of service, it means Bhogavansha kare. Krishna bhuliya jeev, Bhogavansha chare, pachate khadi maya, झपटिया धरे. पीछे खड़ी माया भगवान के तुरंत झपट्टा मार के पकड़ लेती है. मतलब क्या? Then you are entrapped in the cycle of birth and death. Because in that consciousness, when you not remember Krishna, anything you do causes bondage, which is Maya. Bondage is equal to, and hence one needs to perform sacrifices. Why? Sacrifices purify a heart of material desires, and the purified heart transcend knowledge, manifest, and with the knowledge one comes back with constitutional position, original position of serving Krishna. Krishna whom he forgot he again starts remembering. Bhakti, paresha, nubhavo, virakti. When bhakti, then virakti, automatically. When bhakti comes into our life, virakti automatically comes into life. Then your senses do not run after sense objects. That's why sacrifice is very important. Gyan, dan, or sorry, what was there? Dan, yajna, or tapasya. One should never leave because they purify. Even a purified soul. Even sannyasi is purified. I have seen Guru Maharaj going to Radha Govind Mandir and putting dan. 100 rupees note. Why he has to? He is a sannyasi. He is renunciate. Krishna also knows, but still he is putting some donation in the box. The Gita's instruction. It brings renunciation. When you give something, it brings renunciation. When you take something, it brings attachment. So sacrifice is giving something, denying your senses of some enjoyment. Is what? Sense control. So the ultimate sacrifice is, which a devotee does, is giving everything to Krishna. Giving his body, mind, his senses, his wealth, everything to Krishna. Then he is peaceful. Then he is peaceful. You know, once one big businessman asked Prabhupada, I have so many factories and I'm always under tension, under stress. Because something or other keep happening in one of the other factory. Factory में कोई, you know, workers का problem है, कभी यहाँ ये problem है, कोई demand का problem है, कोई ये problem है. I am always anxious. Prabhupada said, give all your factories to me and become peaceful. Give all the factories to me and become peaceful. So if we have enjoying tendency, all these opulence is like load, overload, which causes anxiety. It's like person who is drowning. Every soul in this material, what is drowning? He is already drowning, but he is tied with heavy stones in his neck. This is material opulence. If it is not being used for as a sacrifice, it becomes overload and causes anxiety, tension, stress in this material. इसे बोलते हैं कि लाभ होता है कि शुभ लाभ होता है. Lav is your profit, but this profit is sanctified through sacrifice. It becomes Shubh Lav. So Lav causes miseries, Shubh Lav causes real joy, pleasure. So everything we have has to be sanctified. Otherwise it will become material. It will become material. So your mind will become material if it is not thinking about Krishna. Your hands will become material if they are not serving Krishna. Your eyes will become material if they are not taking darshan of Krishna every day. Your ears will become material if they are not hearing about Krishna. Your tongue will become material if it's not tasting prasadam every time. And your wealth will become material if it is not used in the service of Krishna as a sacrifice. So the sacrifice is extremely, extremely important subject matter, especially for grastas, because they carry all the opulence. They are attached to their bodies and mind and senses. Okay? And hence this, chapter is very, very important. To perform sacrifice. Right? Earlier, people used to perform sacrifice. Now, as we are making material progress, tendency to sacrifice something is disappearing. Why? Because Krishna consciousness is generally becoming now I, me, my consciousness. I, me, mine consciousness. There was a study done by which magazine, international magazine, I think the Fortune 500, some other. in which they concluded the society today is me, mine society. You see, selfie is what? Selfie is a selfish act. Yes or no? Selfie is what? Is an act full of selfishness. Earlier, people used to draw a line and they'll throw their money in the air. And if whatever money comes on the left-hand side of the line is utilized in service of Krishna, and whatever comes on the right side of the line, it is used for self-preservation. For self-preservation. So generally, if you throw, at least 50% will come. Law of probability is what? 50-50. 50% chance coming this side, 50% chance coming this side. And that's the principle. Who followed? Rupa Goswami followed. 50% for Krishna, 25% for my relatives, and 25% for my emergencies. That's the formula every grahastha has to follow. But people don't talk about this formula these days. They're scared people run away. Devotee will run away if you tell them to devote 50% of the opulence in service of Krishna. But we should talk about it. That's the way one should live. There are 4 ashramas: Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. Out of 4, 3 are renunciate. Brahmachari is renounced, Vanaprastha is renounced, and Sannyasi is renounced. They don't earn money, but they give spiritual knowledge to Grahastha. So what is Grahastha's duty? To take care of all 3 of them materially. Okay? To take care of materially Brahmachari, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasi. So ideally 75% should go there. But 50% we should preserve and gradually utilize. 50% of your net income after taking care of your material needs. Okay? This will be debate chalti hai. 50% pre-tax or post-tax. 50% after tax, after taking care of your material needs. Yani ki 50% of your saving after you have taken care of your belly, your needs after that. So it may not be possible to do it overnight, but we should start contemplating on this. This is sacrifice, which purifies our heart of material desires. Okay. So earlier line, and then it became circle, small circle. Throw, and whatever comes in the small circle will go to Krishna, and whatever lies outside is mine. Okay. And then as Kali progress, what happened? We throw, and whatever Krishna catches in the air is Krishna's, and whatever comes down is mine. Whatever remains in the air is what Krishna will keep, and whatever comes back to me is my sense gratification. This is today's formula. So as and when we are making material progress, we are becoming more and more miser. We can spend lakhs of rupees on a marriage. These days, people spend, I can't use this term. Randomly they spend. They'll spend 10 lakhs to decorate a toilet. Yes or no? But they will not spend in the service of Krishna. Even 10,000 is a big amount. Giving 10,000 is a big amount. When they give 10,000, they feel very proud. I have given 10,000 rupees. No. This will not purify our heart. This will not bring down material desires. See, unless we start following instructions of scriptures, we will not make progress. Why Krishna is talking about all the sacrifice and all that? He wants us to come back. Yes or no? End objective is that. Not even knowledge. Knowledge means bhakti, and bhakti means go back. Krishna is fine looking us going back to Godhead, to Him. That's why He's teaching us. Learn to sacrifice. Because unless you learn to sacrifice, your tendency to gratify senses will not disappear. So give it in service of Krishna. People sacrifice in different ways. Some people sacrifice worldly possessions for higher benefit, like when they perform Karam Kandi Yajna, or they go to demigods. What will they take demigod? I will do this. I will do what? I will break 11 coconuts. Correct? This is my fee. And what does he ask in return? What is he asking in return? Tell me.
More.
Huh? He's giving 11 coconuts and maybe asking 11 lakhs worth of maybe some deal or some profit or something. Yes or no? So this is like, this doesn't purify. This doesn't manifest transcendental knowledge. But it is still better. Why? He's giving at least 11 coconuts. Better than people who are atheists, not even believing in higher authorities, need at least. So that is also a sacrifice. So one type of sacrifice is giving some worldly possession as sacrifice, but for higher benefit. And second type of sacrifice is sacrificing oneself, not in the service, but for liberation. Brahman realization. I want to get rid of, he has got knowledge, these are Gyanis. He wants to get rid of this material world and merge into Brahman aspect of the supreme authority. And finally, you have devotees. They sacrifice everything. Everything means everything. And depend upon Supreme Lord, even for the maintenance. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had his servant with the name Govinda. Sometimes he'll accumulate food grains for more than one day. And he'll chastise him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will chastise him. Why?
Krishna will take care of it.
We should be dependent on Krishna, not our accumulation. If Krishna has to feed, Krishna will provide. This is the mindset of a real sannyasi. He doesn't even know where will he get his next food. All is dependent on Krishna. I remember my Shiksharu, His Grace Kamalchand Prabhu. He once came from Bhilwara. He had to take train from Udaipur, flight from Udaipur. He starts early, so he did not have anything there. He is catching a flight. He'll reach Bombay maybe afternoon, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. But he did not ask anyone, please send me some prasadam. Like whenever we go outside, we have traveled 24 hours of train journey, you start planning. अरे ये रास्ते में कौन से स्टेशन आते हैं, वहां पर कोई मंदिर है क्या? We'll call up, can you please deliver prasadam in the train? Train will arrive at 10:30 in the morning. We make all the plans. He did not make any plan. Somehow I got to know that he is traveling, he is catching a flight, and I went and gave some prasadam to him. Who inspired me? Krishna. So Krishna takes care of people who are completely dependent on Krishna. But people who try to take care of themselves by accumulation, by different means, okay. If you think you're self-sufficient, take care of you, take it yourself. But Grahastha should not be so, they cannot be so renounced. Why? Because they have family to take care of them. They should preserve some money. But to the extent it is required to preserve the body and perform bhajan. To that extent we should accumulate. Anything more than that, if it is not sacrifice, it becomes bondage. It becomes bondage. So important is sacrifice. So many youngsters today are joining ashram. Who takes care of them? Krishna. Yes or no? And trust me, their lifestyle is better than us. What they eat is more elaborate than what we eat. This is Krishna's mercy, no? Because they meet after Krishna is eaten. And Krishna is normally served very elaborate prasad, bhoga. And the remnants, who is enjoying? हम घर में मुश्किल से एक सब्जी बनाते हैं या एक दाल बना लेते हैं ज्यादा से ज्यादा. And what these people get? You know it. Who is taking care? Krishna. So one who sacrifices is never at loss. If he sacrifices 1 penny, Krishna will reciprocate with millions of pennies. I mean, I'm just giving example. What is Krishna's formula to reciprocate? Why you do itna sa for Krishna and Krishna sees like you've done so much. Krishna sees everything you do with a magnifying glass. It looks bigger. And anything Krishna does to us, he does this much to us, and we see it like a we don't even see. We don't even go and say thank you, in front of Krishna. Thank you, Krishna. You made good profit. Did you go and tell Krishna, thank you, Krishna? You got bonus. Did you say thank you to Krishna? You got today's food. You were not ill for last 1 year. Did you say thank you to Krishna? We should develop habit of saying thank you, expressing our gratitude. Why? A grateful heart is the most fertile land to grow the creeper of devotion. Repeat.
Most fertile land to grow.
Can you please repeat? Anyone on the screen? When you switch off your video,
A grateful heart is the most fertile land to reciprocate to Krishna.
Not to reciprocate, to grow or to cultivate the seed of creeper of devotion. One who is not grateful, he can never be a devotee. But devotee is always thanking Krishna. जब हम प्रसाद पाते हैं ना, immediately we should say thank you, Krishna. You arrange prasad. Yes or no? We realize the importance of oxygen during Corona time, and we have been consuming oxygen right from our childhood. How many cylinders you would have consumed by now? कोई हिसाब किताब नहीं. But never go and say thank you. So the first thing you should go in front of Krishna, don't lament. Normally we only start lamenting and start complaining. अरे ये नहीं हो रहा, ये नहीं हो रहा, ये नहीं हो रहा, ये नहीं हो रहा. Yeah. No complaints. Only because whatever situation Krishna puts us into, we should have full faith. It is for my spiritual advancement. Any situation Krishna puts us into is for our purification. It's for our. If with that mindset one continues his service, he becomes eligible for Krishna's mercy. Tatte anukampan susanikshmano bhunjan evat kritam vipakan hitvad vapuvir vidhan namaste. आगे क्या? Tatte anukampam susamikshmano bhunjan evat kritam vipakam hidvat vapurvir vidhan namaste. Jive topade mukti sa daya bhak. Like a son becomes natural owner of his father's property after his father leaves his body, a devotee becomes a natural recipient of Krishna's mercy if he maintains this attitude of thank you in all situations and keeps serving with his mind, body, and soul and words. He is right recipient of Krishna's most eligible recipient of Krishna's mercy. That should be our attitude. Only thank you. He still survives, still breathing. Say thank you. If you want, he can switch off immediately. Immediately he'll switch off. So from 25 to 33, which was today's subject matter, and we're not yet started. 25 to 33, Krishna will talk about different sacrifices, because everybody is not a pure devotee that he'll give everything. So different people give differently, but they sacrifice. Brahmachari sacrificing in own way, a Jnani sacrificing own way, a Grahastha sacrificing in his own way. So different types of sacrifices Krishna will explain from 25 to 33 number verse. Okay. Why? Everybody is not a pure devotee who will give everything to Krishna. Krishna consciousness is a gradual, is a journey. It may happen in one moment. That is also, there are historical evidences. Somebody asked Prabhupada, how long it takes to surrender to Krishna? How long? We normally say, अभी तो बहुत काम है हमारे, बहुत जिम्मेवारियां हैं, उसके बाद देखेंगे, वो बाद आता ही नहीं कभी, है ना? So Prabhupada said, it may take one moment, or it may take millions of lifetimes, depending upon what is our greed, how much greedy we are. It may take one moment to surrender, or it may take millions of lifetimes. Surrender. So I'll quickly read at least one verse, verse number 25. Point 25. Devam vivapare yakyam yoginaha paripasate brahmagno pare yakyam. आगे क्या है? यज्ञेन एव उपजुह्वति देवमेवाप्रे यज्ञं योगिना पर्युपासते ब्रह्माग्नौ अपरे यज्ञं यज्ञेव उपजुह्वति. Some yogis perfectly worship the demigods by offering different sacrifices to them, and some of them offer sacrifices in the fire of the supreme Brahman. Repeat after me. Some yogis perfectly worship the demigods by offering different sacrifices to them, and some of them offer sacrifices in the fire of supreme Brahman. Purport. As described above, a person engaged in discharging duties in Krishna consciousness is called a perfect yogi or a first-class mystic. But there are others also who perform similar sacrifices in the worship of demigods, and still others who sacrifice to Supreme Brahman or the impersonal feature of Supreme Lord. So there are different kinds of sacrifices in terms of different categories. So what is Krishna teaching here? You start with something. And gradually the tendency will increase to sacrifice. Once, one sannyasi went to a householder. That Mataji was little irritated because of whatever household problems. And she saw somebody has come to ask. She went and collected some ashes and gave and handed over to this sannyasi. What? Ashes. Rak. Sannyasi said, thank you, Mataji. I'll come again tomorrow. Why is sannyasi reciprocating in this manner? Sannyasi is still satisfied. Why?
Because he's thinking that Krishna.
She's sacrificing something at least. No? Today's ash, tomorrow will be cash. Isn't it? There's a tendency to give one coconut today. Tomorrow he'll give his head. Today he's breaking coconut. Tomorrow he'll break his head in front of me. He'll bow down. Why? Because he's showing some respect to the supreme authority by giving something, that they have some supreme power. I am not supremely powerful. There's somebody else who is powerful. So this mindset is also a positive movement on the path of spirituality. So we should never criticize people who worship demigods. It is an offense. Why? He has taken a step ahead in Krishna consciousness by respecting authority maintained by Krishna. The demigod, who is demigod? Demigod is a part and parcel of his government. Isn't it? So anyone who is worshipping demigod means he is moving a step ahead on his path towards Krishna. And we should not feel proud also. Demigod worshipper, Krishna worshipper. I am a Krishna, devotee of Krishna, No. We can feel fortunate, not proud. We can feel extremely fortunate that somehow, even though I did not deserve, I've got Krishna in this life. I am allowed to chant the holy name of Krishna in this life. I have been made eligible to honor prasadam offered to Krishna in this life. I am allowed to sit in the association of devotees and hear about Krishna in this life. Very fortunate. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains in Chaitanya Charitamrita how fortunate the soul is who is connected to Krishna in this life. He starts from, there are 84 lakh species. How many? 84 lakh species. Out of 84 lakh species, there are 4 lakh species of human body. Very rare, no? How much percent? How many percent? 5% approximately. 4 lakhs is 5%. Only 5% species are with human body. Fortunate, na? But in this human species, there are people who are of divine nature, there are people who are of demoniac nature. So who is more fortunate? People with divine nature. And what percentage according to you such people are in society? Out of 100? Hanji, Pradeep Prabhu, how many such people approximately? Out of 100, how many people will have, he's saying 2%. 2% of 100%. Now 2% of 5% kitna ho gaya? Which was human species? We have financial lead. Kitna ho gaya? 0.1%. Now it is 0.1% is divine nature. Divine nahi kahenge, pious nature. pious nature, who believe in doing something good to others. Out of 0.1, there are people who follow demigods or Gyan Yoga, Brahman realization, and very, very few who have understood Krishna as Bhagavan. So around what percentage you've seen is within this 2%, how many will be Krishna devotees, how many will be doing other stuff, pious stuff? Hanji, Vinita Mataji, tell me percentage. Half a percent, not more than that. Half a percent of 0.1%. कितना हो गया प्रभु जी?
0.5% प्रभु जी 0.5 मतलब 0.1 का
So his calculator is failed. He is struggling to find out 0.05% of 0.1%. So this is the fortune. This is the rarest of rare species. One who has got access to Krishna in his form as the Supreme Lord. Go and celebrate. Even if we have some material problems, worth it. Worth it. You got Krishna. At the same time, don't let this opportunity go out of our hand as a missed opportunity. The opportunity comes to few people, but even out of those few, very few will capitalize on this opportunity. Will make you opportunity. So we should not let this rarest of rare opportunity go out of hand without utilizing it. Yesterday we were reading Bhagavad Gita class, 6th chapter. You know, Durlabhataram, if a soul gets a body in the family of devotees, his birth is rarest of rare. You can read 6th chapter. What's number? I don't know. His birth is the rarest of rare. So taking a birth in the family of devotees in which he can be trained right from the beginning in Krishna consciousness, he is the most rarest soul. So your children are most rarest, provided you follow Krishna consciousness seriously, because then only they'll pick up. Otherwise, we'll spoil our life and we'll end up spoiling their life also. Our opportunity is missed and we make them also miss opportunity of reaching Krishna in this life. I'm sorry for being so emphatic. But this is truth. Don't let this opportunity go out of hand. We are very, 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 very fortunate people that we have got Krishna, we got Krishna's name, we got Bhagavad Gita, we got Prasadam, we got devotees around. Very, very fortunate. So in this verse, Krishna is explaining, or Prabhupada is explaining in the different types of sacrifices, like we discussed earlier. One is sacrificing something to his demigod he likes or he worships. Why he likes? Or he gives him something. He fulfills his material desire. And some sacrifice to Supreme Brahman. They are Jnani people. They want to, they want the identity to disappear. We don't want this body at any cost. We want to disappear and merge into existence of the Supreme Authority and become Supreme Authority. These are Jnanis. Okay? Karmis, Jnanis, and finally, devotees. So there are different kinds of sacrifices in terms of different categories. Such different categories of sacrifice by different types of performers only superficially demark varieties of sacrifice. So these different sacrifices are only superficial demarcation. Purpose of every sacrifice is finally to samsiddhir hari toshanam. Hari toshanam. Ataha pumbhir duja shreshta varnashrama vibhagasha Sunushtitasya dharmasya samsiddhir hari toshanam. Whether you are a brahmachari, you are a sannyasi, you are a grasta, you are vanaprastha, you are kshatriya, you are brahmana, doesn't matter. In your position, goal of your life is to satisfy Krishna. Samsiddhir hari toshanam. You know one of the names of Radharani? Krishna toshanam tatpara. She's always eager to satisfy Krishna. So you should beg in front of Radharani, thoda sa ye mere ko bhi de do. Please give me also this little propensity to, to work for the satisfaction of. But Radharani will not give directly. Who will give? Who has got power of attorney of Radharani? Who has got power of attorney to give this greed to serve Krishna? Guru. Guru is authorized, who is sitting with this agency to distribute this propensity to serve Krishna and satisfy Krishna. So you have to satisfy Guru. Then he will bless you with this authority to serve Krishna. Guru has got two power attorneys. One from Radharani to give propensity to satisfy Krishna. Another from Nityananda to fight with Maya, to get spiritual strength to fight with Maya. So devotion is what? Keep fighting Maya and keep satisfying Krishna. And who is giving these two propensities? You should understand Guru Tattva. I am thinking of having a seminar on Guru Tattva. Correct? आप लोग आते नहीं ना फिर मैं स्पेशल सेमिनार ऑर्गेनाइज करूंगा 10 लोग हाँ बोलेंगे 2 लोग आएंगे we'll organize something. Then factually sacrifice means to satisfy the Supreme Lord Vishnu, who is also known as Yajna. All the different varieties of sacrifice can be placed within 2 preliminary divisions, namely sacrifice of worldly possessions and sacrifice in pursuit of transcendental knowledge. So Prabhupada is explaining the 2 types of sacrifices. One is giving worldly possessions, like we mentioned, offering some demigod, expecting something better multiple times in return. And second is performing sacrifice in pursuit of transcendental knowledge. Like on a Sunday, when most people are either sleeping or reading newspaper or watching television, you have performed sacrifice of coming here and spending 1 hour to do what? In pursuit of transcendental knowledge. No sacrifice. It is sacrifice. It is sacrifice. So that is the beauty of sacrifice. That is the beauty of spiritual sacrifice, that you get joy. Material sacrifice is frustration. You're working whole day in office, you finally another feel frustrated. Yes or no? मैं जब बॉम्बे में था, so my office was in Churchgate. I used to stay in Thane Hiranandani. 35 kilometers I used to drive every day. And while I'm in the lift, I'm thinking, what did I achieve today? Other than frustration, other than anxiety, other than stress. What did I gain today? So material tapasya or material austerity or sacrifice means frustration. But spiritual sacrifice means joy, ananda. Tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam atma shuddhiyet brahma sokhyam tu anantam. Why? This tapasya purifies one's existence and he becomes blissful. Soul is blissful by nature, na? So when one performs sacrifice, he is purified, he attains his constitutional position of being a soul which is blissful by nature. So sacrifice is equal to purification, is equal to manifestation of one's constitutional characteristics, which is to be blissful. Simple. So, just say, when you purify gold, how do you purify gold? By burning the, coal, it becomes gold. Isn't it? It becomes more valuable after going through austerity. Yes or no? Similarly, a soul's original characteristic or symptom manifests when he goes through spiritual austerity to remove all that black, which we are covered with, in terms of material desires. So when that is purified, our original existence of gold manifests. Makes sense or no? Makes sense or no on the screen? So spiritual life means converting coal into gold, 24 karat gold. Otherwise, we'll die like coal only. Material austerity means take birth as a coal and die as a coal. And spiritual life means take birth as a coal and die as a gold. Choice is ours. Those who are in Krishna consciousness sacrifice all material possessions for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. So one who is keeping something with himself means he's keeping core with himself. He doesn't want that part to become gold. And devotee is very intelligent. He says, Sara le jao. All of this is gold. Please take everything and convert it into. This is supreme intelligence. While others who want some temporary material happiness sacrifice their material possession to satisfy demigods such as Indra, the sun god, etc. And others who are impersonalists sacrifice their identity by merging into the existence of impersonal Brahman. The demigods are powerful living entities appointed by Supreme Lord for the maintenance and supervision of all material functions, like the heating, watering, and lighting of this universe. Those who are interested in material benefits worship the demigods by various sacrifices according to the Vedic rituals. They are called Bahu Ishwarvadi. Bahu Ishwarvadi means many demigods. Different demigods give different material possessions. So Monday they will go to some demigod, Tuesday they will go to some demigod, Wednesday they will go to some demigod, Thursday different, Friday different. They all give different material benefits. But others who worship the impersonal feature of the absolute truth and regard the forms of demigods as temporary, sacrifice their individual self in the supreme fire and thus end their individual existence by merging into existence of supreme. Such impersonalists sacrifice their time in philosophical speculation to understand the transcendental nature of supreme. In other words, the fruity workers sacrifice their material possessions for material enjoyment, whereas the impersonalist sacrifices material designation with a view to merging into existence of supreme. For the impersonalist, the fire altar of sacrifice is supreme Brahman. So Agni Kund kya hai? For impersonalist, Brahman. Put themselves into that fire. Why? They don't want birth again. They want to merge into supreme Brahman. The Krishna conscious person, like Arjuna, however, sacrifices everything for the satisfaction of Krishna and thus all his material possessions as well as his own self. Everything is sacrificed for Krishna. Thus, he is first-class yogi, but he does not lose his individual existence. तो हमें क्या बनना है? कर्म योगी, ज्ञान योगी या सुप्रीम योगी? क्या बनना है जी अनिल प्रभु, क्या बनना है? कर्म योगी, ज्ञान योगी या भक्ति योगी? योगी।
सुप्रीम योगी प्रभु जी, भक्ति योगी।
ठीक है, सारा अपने चेक तो सारा मंत्री बनाना है। ठीक है, ओके, एनी क्वेश्चन? Yes,
In person, they fall now.
they fall. Yes, that is not a mukti.
Sorry?
What they call is mukti, that's not a mukti.
How do they fall down? If they are, giving their out only, then how is that?
Because there is inaction, there is nothing to do. And soul is very active by nature. They come down. And they come down and do a lot of philosophical activities here for philanthropic activities. And then gradually they get realization of Krishna.
But from the Brahman position which they have attained, because they give their ahuti and realize Brahman, then from there how they come back?
They come back.
What
Are from
is
Switch
it?
Road people come back and saying this is Brahman.
That is the account of their punya must come to an end and they come back, something like this happens.
I don't know exactly the, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, the turning point, like in Swarga, one Punya Kshina. I don't know where exact, at what point in time. Maybe when they feel frustrated, there's nothing to do, they send themselves desire to come back. Based on one's desire to come back.
Prabhuji, just say you told us once that you should offer to Krishna, make food and offer to Krishna, and then it becomes prasadam. So there, some of the people raised the point that they don't have their control over their kitchen, like kids or teenagers. So that is a limitation for them. In the same way, when you are saying that you should give some part to Krishna out of your finances, then people who don't have financial control, how do they do it practically? Like person like me.
So what Rupa Goswami said, he brought all his gold sharafis and then physically divided. It is mentioned he had a boat full of gold coins. Boat full of gold. So everybody keeps account of how much. See that even effort or the thought itself will please Krishna. Dena to next step. If you develop a desire to act on this, that itself will purchase Krishna. What will Krishna do with your wealth? Tell me. He look at your wealth. अभी आप देंगे तो अमीर बन जाएंगे भगवान, ऐसा है क्या? So Krishna doesn't need. Krishna is looking for your bhava. He is a bhava grahi Janardana. I remember you sent me one message long time back. I don't know what was that. You had some desire to attend a class, or I don't know what was that. I sent you one verse from Bhagavatam. That, for example, you have a deep desire to build a temple for Krishna. We do not have resources, but you have an intense desire to please Krishna by building a big home for him. आप अपने तो फ्लैट बनाते हैं, अपने अपार्टमेंट बनाते हैं, but once in writing is in, let me make the goal of my life building some nice apartment for Krishna. But you do not have resources to do it. But Krishna will accept your bhava and will give you result of building a temple. Oh, yeah. You will get advantage or benefit of building a temple, though you have not built anything. You only had a desire to build, but Krishna picks up the desire. People who have resources, they should put resources. They should not think like this, oh, desire is sufficient, yeah. If desire works, why to put opulence? No, if we have kshamata, if we have ability, capability, we should. Like there was one, Brahmana who had desire to serve Krishna very opulently, but he didn't have anything. So he'll cook everything in his mind. He'll cook everything in his mind and offer to Krishna his mind. So once he cooked a kheer, sweet rice. And before offering, he thought it's very hot. Let me check by putting my finger. Is it cold enough to offer? The moment he put his finger inside the hot, sweet rice, his finger got burnt. And he came out of, that thought process. And he saw his finger was burnt. Actually, his finger was. So one can serve Krishna through mind also. Krishna manifests in 8 forms, as explained by Krishna to Uddhava in Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto. And one of them is mind. For mind is for those people who cannot actually, you can always serve Krishna in mind. But if we have resources, we should deploy all the resources in very opulent. Grahasthas should serve Krishna very opulently because they have means to serve Krishna. Any question on the screen?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Upasana Mataji. Yes. आप दर्शन तो
Prabhuji,
अच्छा ठीक है बेस नहीं कम
wait.
हाँ बोलो
Prabhuji, you just mentioned now कि there are 8 ways that Krishna
I've got something important
manifests.
to announce, so please don't leave. We'll take another maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Okay. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, you just mentioned Krishna manifests himself in 8 ways, and one of them is in the mind. So, other 7, Prabhuji, is there any stroke that I can refer to?
Yeah, it's like stone, clay,
Okay.
metal like this, pearls, ornaments, something like this. There are 8, sand, mind, like this. There are 8 forms Krishna explains to Uddhava he can manifest. Wood, for example, Jagannath is in the form of wood.
Okay.
Fine.
Ji, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay. If there's no question, then I'll make my announcement. Can I? Either question I could. Okay. Yes.
Prabhuji, I have seen 2 videos where Prabhupada was using a mirror to put tilak. What is that? What is that? He's using a mirror to put his tilak.
Because decorating and putting Krishna's lotus feet. Na? So he thinks his body is a temple in which Krishna resides and he's decorating temple. So he's not decorating his face, he's decorating temple of Krishna, this body in which Krishna resides. So like whenever there's celebration, you decorate temple, no? You put flowers, you paint, isn't it? So putting tilkam is like decorating a temple. When you put tilkam, we invite Krishna at 12. And when Krishna comes and resides there, Madhusudanaya Nama, means you're inviting Krishna, please come and stay here. That's why when you put tilkam, you're fully protected. Putting tilkam is not a formality. It's a serious devotional activity. You see Prabhupada doing any spiritual activity with rigor. Every small spiritual activity should be done with and ghumte bathroom mein tikal nahi. Is a pure devotion. You should not carry Gopi Chandra into bathroom. Sit down, put asan, have achman, clean your hand. Keshvaya Nama, Narayana Nama, Madhvaya Nama, Apvitra, Pavitra, purify your body, and then put tilkam. Om Keshvaya Nama, Om Narayana Nama, Madhvaya Nama, Govindaya Nama. It means you're decorating your temple. With this consciousness, Krishna resides in my heart. So Prabhuji is very punctual of putting tilkam like this. Nowadays, Mamta Mataji, you are not putting tilkam today. So you should also practice putting tilkam. Sincere devotees who don't want to keep any coal with themselves, who want to give everything to convert into gold. Who is saying add me in the group?
Guruji, Gaurav here.
Yes, Gaurav Prabhu. You're not coming regularly now.
No. Because I am not getting link actually for this session. So,
Like soul is eternal, our link is eternal.
Okay.
Okay,
So link is
used every week.
okay. Then I will join. I thought there was a different link for this session.
You just send me one SMS, I'll add you in the group. Okay, one announcement is like this. A lot of people have been requesting, they want to join book reading session. They want to read Prabhupada books every day, which is very good and important for the stability of our spiritual life. If you read every day in the association of devotees, trust me, your growth in spiritual life will become exponential. So anyone who wants exponential growth, there's an opportunity. Every day, 8:30 to 9, only half an hour. Online, we'll read Prabhupada books, and we are starting from beginning. Right? It will be in English, followed by group discussion in terms of what are the learnings. Just half an hour. So please take out this half an hour and in the service of Krishna. It'll help you immensely. Your chanting will be, you will become stabilized. Your chanting will improve. You will want to make progress. You become more greedy in your spiritual life. Right? So please give me this half an hour. I'm begging for this half an hour of yours. While I am very busy, I also committed to give time to this important, session. So please plan your day in such a way that you have finished your food, everything before 8:30. 8:30 you join, listen about Krishna, and then go and sleep in that mood. If you go and sleep in that mood, your sleep, which is tamoguni activity, also becomes sattvic. It becomes spiritual. Another advantage. Okay.
So on the same link, Prabhuji, this
Link
link
I will send because I need a separate group. So once I have sent a message to everybody. Have you received message from me?
No, I am not.
I'll send you separately. Just say
Sure.
confirm. Then I'll add you in the group. Most probably next week onwards. So please send me a positive confirmation so that I can add all of you. People are sitting here and on screen. Both of you are requested to join. Don't miss this opportunity. Because if you miss, then we would have gone ahead after 6 months. Then you'll miss the beginning part. And a very systematic study. It's not a randomly we take any book. No, there's a systematic study of these books gradually. Okay? Will you honor my request? Yes?
Yes.
Can you please unmute yourself and give me a positive affirmation by saying yes?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Everybody, please.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I'll try because the timing over here.
Yes, Malaysia is 2 hours.
2.5 hours.
It's very difficult for you. Okay.
But I'll try.
Yes. And others?
Yes, Prabhu.
Pradeep Prabhu, you're not unmuting yourself and saying yes. Please try. I'm sure you will like it. You enjoyed the session, na? So you'll enjoy that also. This is weekly joy, you'll get daily joy. Okay? Hare Krishna. Please send me a line of confirmation so I can add you in the group. Shri Prabhupada ki Jai Gaurav.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.